Breaking news! A new episode of Let's Be Frank starting now! Hello all. It's been quite a while since I've done a video like this. Remember, the last time I can think of where I just took a set of Pokemon and just said, alright, I'm gonna defend them. I wasn't even living here. I think it was well over a year ago at this point. Because I did take a group of Pokemon and crap on them in a recent video. That was fun. That was great. But there are still Pokemon out there that get too much hate. I was glad to shine the light on Pokemon that don't get enough hate. But let's kind of be nicer. Let's rein things back in and bring 3 Pokemon that I want you guys to respect a little bit more. Now, 2 of these Pokemon we're going to talk about at the same time, but that's okay. You'll understand why in a little bit. But let's go ahead and start with our first Pokemon of the day that you guys are going to show a bit more love to. Now, starting off with Barbaracle. I've always admired this Pokemon. I love when the Pokemon Company decides to take risks with design. It allows them to bring us stuff that are totally unique. So many Pokemon fans want designs solely based off of animals or monsters, and they hate when anything veers from the norm. And I'm looking at you, Gen 1ers. But hey, Barbaracle is just as much an animal as any other Pokemon. Well, that's if you consider crustaceans animals, which I and scientists do. That's because Barbaracle is based on a goose barnacle, believe it or not. I bet you probably believe it. That's probably not that hard to believe. Yes, after evolving from Binnacle, which is technically 2 barnacles on a rock, it becomes 7 different barnacles, all sharing a rock. Now, if you've watched any other Pokemon video of mine, you'll know I am not a big fan of multiple creature Pokemon, but I promise you, here, it is done right. Now, if each of these barnacles on Barbaracle really do all have a mind of their own, they still all choose to function as one hive mind. And that's just so cool. It's different from like Wishy-Washy, right? Where a bunch of these fish from all over the ocean come together to form one giant monster fish. No, they're all here on this rock deciding to work together. They share a nervous system, they share a brain. I'm not even entirely sure, but it's pulled off so well. Now listen, Barbaracle's stats aren't too bad either. But if you want to know more about that, you're gonna have to listen to Jokum and I's podcast, Certified Pokemoments. Yes, each episode we randomly roll, just a new Pokemon every week. We talk about the whole line, and we've rolled Barbaracle in the past. And it was so much fun to talk about him. We talked about his stats, his move pool, his typing, how he evolves, all of that. It was so much fun, and you actually learn that he's much more interesting than anybody ever thought. That's actually how we learned he's based on a goose barnacle, specifically. We talk about marrying him. Why? I don't know. We talk about eating him. You ever eaten a barnacle? Hey, apparently they taste pretty good. There's a lot to say about Barbaracle. And if you want even more reason to love him, go on to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or right here on Let's Be Frank to find Barbaracle's podcast episode. And while you're there, hey, listen to all the other episodes. There's quite a bit at this point. Guys, guess what? I was not planning this at all. As you can see, I'm in like total editing mode. I'm just in comfy clothes. I've changed my shirt. I just got a package. I haven't opened it yet, but I think I know what it is. And if it's what I think it is, this is the craziest timing ever. Because, we're talking about Barbaracle, right? That is what we're in the middle of talking about. Let's open this package. Alright guys, no fancy mic setup for this. I'm just going to try and get this open as quick as possible because the timing on this could not be more insane. I started filming this video earlier today, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, knock at the door, I'm in the middle of editing, I have a package, it's this package, and lo and behold, what's inside other than my brand new Barbaracle Sitting Cutie, or Pokemon Fit, because it's straight from Japan. He is still warm from being in the mail truck. Holy crap, this timing could not have been better. This is absurd. I cannot believe this happened. The tracking for him was honestly kind of, I don't know how do I say this in a not rude way. It wasn't great. It wasn't very helpful or anything, but like, look at this. Look at him. He's right here in front of me. The day I'm filming about Barbaracle, my Barbaracle arrives. He looks great too. Some sitting cuties end up looking kind of dopey, or they're too round in certain areas. This Barbaracle is fantastic. He has all his little eyes. Look at him. How well does he sit? All right, well, he needs a little work on the sitting front, but like, there we go. Dude, this is so good. What are the odds it happened this way? I am so happy. This right here deserves a like. Please, if you haven't already, like this video. All right, let's get back into it. But hopefully I've convinced you to love Barbaracle a bit more, or at least do a bit more research into why he's so cool. For now, let's go ahead and move on to our next couple of Pokemon. Now, like I said in the intro, the last two we're doing at the same time, and it's because the Pokemon we're talking about is Sock and Throw, some of Gen 5's most hated Pokemon. But like I normally say in these videos, I don't get why. I know people typically don't like humanoid Pokemon. You know, the closer they get to resembling a man, the worse they are. But I've never seen a man be blue or red before. Have you ever seen men with noses like those? How about guys who have 3 fingers on each hand? These obviously aren't humans, they're just human-shaped. In fact, both Sock and Throw share the same egg group, human-like. Yeah, that's the in-game egg group for these Pokemon, human-like. Come on. You know who else is considered human-like? Hitmonchan, Electabuzz, Hariyama, Sableye, Toxicroak, Lopunny, Bisharp, Pangoro, Toxtricity, Grimmsnarl, and so many more. Now, I chose not to name every single one because that would take forever, but there are dozens upon dozens of Pokemon who are specifically designed to be human-like. Some of these Pokemon are even fan favorites, like Gardevoir, or Infernape, or Lucario. My point is, they're too human-like argument is a dumb one, because I bet all you Sock and Throw haters out there think Gardevoir and Gallade are sick, yet they're also extremely human-like. Now, real quick, what also makes people dislike these two is that they're a part of Gen 5, which is so often referred to as the reboot generation. You know, a lot of Pokemon were modeled similarly off of Gen 1 Pokemon. You know, there's the classic Conkeldurr to Machamp, there's the Audino to Chansey, you have stuff like that. And then Sock and Throw were kind of like Gen 5's version of Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Hitmontop wasn't invented yet. But my question is, why is that a bad thing? Sock and Throw represent completely different martial arts styles and are very visually distinct from the Hitmons. Bottom line is this: you can dislike a Pokemon simply because it doesn't suit your tastes, but calling them an overall bad Pokemon just is not factual. Sorry. We ended up getting through this one a bit quicker than the last few, huh? If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm running out of Pokemon that I have like real strong feelings about that other people hate, right? Like with Gramble, for example. Gramble is a really good Pokemon. I love this big dog. But at the same time, so many other people don't. Despite him being a fairy type, despite him being really cool and tough looking and strong, he's pretty strong for a Gen 2 Pokemon. Most people just don't really like Gramble, and that bothered me. So I wanted to mention him in the video. Same went for Magmortar, Rhyperior, and Teleon from the first video. Honestly, you guys, most of the Pokemon you see behind me over here, I really like, and everybody else either agrees that they're fine or they're pretty cool. Maybe not Behem, or maybe not Glameow? I don't know. How do people feel about Glameow? Listen, If you want more of these videos where I defend Pokemon that just simply don't deserve hate, let me know down in the comments below and comment different Pokemon you want to see defended. Because I'll do it. I will continue to defend these Pokemon. Maybe it would just be cool to talk about Pokemon. Just pick random Pokemon and just discuss what makes them cool. But honestly, that's kind of what Joachim and I are doing in our podcast. I mentioned it earlier, Certified Pokemoments. We randomly roll a Pokemon and we just talk about it. More often than not, I'm in love with the Pokemon and Joachim's kind of negative towards it. But a lot of times, I get him to come around in the end and he'll admit, yeah, you know what, this Pokemon's kind of cool. So if you want to see more of this stuff where I just talk about how cool Pokemon are, why don't you go listen to that podcast? And if you liked this video, why don't you give it a like and subscribe if you have not already? Follow my Instagram and Facebook at LesserFriend2020. And remember, you can find Certified Pokemoments on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and right here on YouTube. But with all that being said, once again, thank you so very much for watching. Until next time.